The director's mind had been clashing on what to do with the coffee pots. The recent events involving Thomas and his crew had played with his wits enough to cause conflicting emotions. Then he had an idea. Later that day, the director went to Thomas to tell him something important. "Thomas, I know you have strong thoughts for the coffee pots." "Do I?" said Thomas sarcastically. "They're my friends, and you treat them like dirt." "Ah yes, but Thomas, I have a marvellous revelation. I've hired an engine from England to come pick them up. I'm taking them to Crewe where they will be properly mended and rebuilt into really useful engines." "What, really, sir?" said Thomas, puzzled. "This is new." "It certainly is, Thomas, and I'm sure the two of them will be very happy to be able to work again once more." And with that, he walked away. Thomas was now feeling very happy with himself, although he did find it suspicious that the director had just suddenly had a change of thought. "Hey driver, can you come here for a sec?" Robert walked over. When you have a passion for something you really want to do, but find that doing something else will make everyone happy, would you still do it? "What's that supposed to mean?" laughed Robert. Never mind," said Thomas. "Just a thought." The next morning, the engine that the director was talking about had arrived. The director must have had another change of mind because this engine looked like it had been pulled out of the scrapyard.
"I'm here to take these two wee little engines to the docks when they'll be shipped off to Crewe,"
said the engine. His voice was like a walrus with a trumpet in its mouth. Sure," said Thomas. The director arrived. "Jeffrey, you made it. You're the engine taking these two, right?"
"Sure am," said Jeffrey. "I don't see why that little blue dude over there can't do it though."
"He wants there to be a surprise when they get back," whispered the director to Jeffrey. Then he walked over to his cab to talk to his crew. Whatever they were talking about, it was private matters. After a short while, Wilbur and Thomas were carefully loaded onto the flatbeds. "Goodbye, Thomas," they said. "See you soon." Then Jeffrey set off with the coffee pots trailing behind him. The next day, Thomas was shunting in the yard when he heard two unfamiliar whistles. Two big red engines stormed into the yard. Then they slowly screeched to a halt. "I'm George," said one. "And I'm John," said the other. "Nice to meet you, little man." Thomas was impressed. Then the director walked out. Thomas, I see you've met the two new engines." "Are these the two that were helping with the extension, sir?" The director's face dropped. "How do you know about the extension?" he said sternly. "I never told you." "Well, I just thought that would be the highest possibility of what's going on, with the new supplies shipped in and all," answered Thomas nervously. The director was cross. "I shall speak to you later," and he walked off. The two new engines immediately got to work, pulling trains and shunting trucks in the yard. Thomas was officially relieved of his train pulling duties and became a permanent shunting and station pilot at Timber Station. This made him very cross. He wanted to bring this up at the next meeting the director and him would have. Later, the director began the talk he was talking about. "Thomas, give me an honest answer. How did you find out about the extension?" "Well, sir, I have a question for you. Why do you want to keep it a secret?" As he said this, Robert and Lawson came rushing out of the station. "Hurry, Thomas, the scrapyard!" "But why?" "Don't ask questions, just go!" And off they went. "Hey," yelled the director, "you're breaking every rule in the book by doing this." Meanwhile, the coffee pots were being transported along the line. "Hey, Thomas," said Wilbert, "we're not going to Crewe, are we?" "It doesn't seem like it," he answered mournfully. Jeffrey pulled up to the scrapyard entrance. His crew signed some papers and they were let through. As the gates shut, Thomas rushed through as fast as he could. "Wait!" he yelled, but he was too late. The gates shut and Thomas was denied access. "Sorry, bro, no scrap, no entry," said the manager. "My friends are about to be killed in there," said Thomas. "You have to let me in." "I'm sorry, bro, but I'm afraid I can't do that." "Damn you!" yelled Thomas. At that moment, the director pulled up in his tracking inspection vehicle. "Robert, Lawson, come with me." Thomas eyed him as they walked away. "Why?" "There was no choice," said the director. Thomas sadly waited as they talked. Minutes later, John buffered up behind Thomas and took him back to the yard, as Robert and Lawson had never come back. It took Thomas ages to recover after that day. John and George are honest and caring engines and looked after Thomas after he lost everything he knew for a second time. Thomas was given a new crew named Stephen and Lars. He grew to know them very well, almost as much as Robert and Lawson, but he still missed them very much. The director returned to the railway a day after the incident. None of the engines paid any attention to him and discarded him as a lost soul with no merit. He never fully recovered either after that day, never being able to forgive himself for the harm he had caused to everyone around him. His son had married and moved to America to start a business enterprise. He invited his father to join him, but he ignored. He never resigned, staying in an old wooden house next to Tidmouth Station. His men act on behalf of his orders. The island was becoming more and more dangerous by the day, and it could only get worse from there. A cross between an A1 and a C1? What was I thinking? What the, huh? Where'd the blueprints go?